Listen for a moment. Even before I focus on the waterfall behind me, we can hear that this place is alive. The water spray hangs in the air, leaves drifting across the riverbanks, and small patches of green clinging to rocks that may otherwise appear bare. Most of us come to South Umpqua Falls for the same reasons: the view and recreation. It's just a beautiful place to stop, explore, maybe jump in the wading pool during a hot summer day, or to just enjoy the forest. But what if this waterfall isn't just a part of the landscape? What if it's actually helping to create the landscape and everything living in it? Hi, my name is Kevin Anderson, and today I invite you to look beyond the falling water. South Umpqua Falls is more than just a scenic destination. The moving water, the cool spray, the shade, and the streamside forest all work together to create a living community that is both resilient and fragile. Our first clue here at South Umpqua Falls that something in the environment is different than other areas of the river or the forest is something that we can feel. The air and temperature is cooler, it's wetter. Ecologists use the word microclimate for an area whose temperature, moisture, light, or wind differs variably from its larger surroundings. The South Umpqua River and the waterfall help to create that type of environment here at the waterfalls. Here's something that most visitors don't even notice. This waterfall here is actually stacking several different types of microclimates on top of itself. And just below that, the impact has created about a 15 to 20 foot plunge pool below it. And this area here stays shaded year round. And downstream, where the current settles back out, the water runs calmer. Three different neighborhoods, each with its own temperature and motion, built by one waterfall. You can think of the falls as a natural climate maker. It doesn't change the weather across Southern Oregon, but right here, it creates a wetter, cooler neighborhood within the larger forest. Really, several different small neighborhoods all at once. The difference helps to determine what can live close to the water and exactly where. Now, look closely at the green life around the water. In this spot, we see mosses, ferns, grass, shrubs, and other plants taking advantage of the shade and moisture. Look at the rocks right in the spray. If you see that dark, velvety green coating, that's moss and liverworts. Those plants can only survive somewhere that never fully dries out. In waterfall spray zones like this one, mosses and liverworts and filmy ferns use the entire surface to pull moisture straight out of the air, which is how they survive on bare rock with no real soil. Just a few feet away, on drier rock, you won't see them at all. This microclimate boundary you can actually see drawn entirely by the mist. The water itself hides just as much life. If I were to flip over one of these rocks here in the shallow, fast-moving water, you'd almost certainly find a mayfly nymph, a stonefly larva, and a caddisfly larva clinging on for dear life. Their flattened bodies, hooked legs, and even little protective cases that they've made out of gravel. They need this turbulent, oxygen-rich water to survive. And in return, they're the base of the entire food web here at the waterfall. The ecosystem does not stop just at the waterline. The river and the forest are connected by a constant exchange, and that exchange is its own kind of microclimate effect. Forest managers describe it directly: the canopy of large trees along a stream or river that mesh together and create a microclimate that cools the water and shelters these wet areas, while also that same canopy drops leaf litter that becomes an important energy source for the food web in the stream below. Leaves, needles, and twigs all fall from the forest above and into the stream. And as that material is caught by the stream, it flows down. It can stop in small places and slow down the water. It can also be shelter or energy for different aquatic uh, animal life that can support. Imagine, if you will, a two-way bridge. The forest provides these types of materials and shade to the river. And in return, the river provides moisture and an enormous amount of nutrients. We may divide this scene when we describe it as land and water, but to the wildlife and the organisms that live here, it is all connected as one microclimate. That cold pool plunge that we talked about earlier, that isn't just scenery, it's the reason there's an entire engineered structure here at this site. The same 15-foot ledge that builds our splash zone microclimate is also a wall that most adult salmon simply cannot climb on their own. So a stepped pool and wear fish ladder was built here to break that one big drop into a series of smaller jumps that a fish can actually manage, keeping the upstream habitat connected to the rest of the river system. The fish using it matter enormously. The South Umpqua and its tributary, Cow Creek, together carry most of the fall run Chinook salmon spawning activity in the entire Umpqua Basin. And biologists have been counting fish here since 1998. There's also a spring run population that spends the entire hot summer holding in deep, cold pools like the one below us, using the same thermal microclimate the salamanders and dippers depend on, just at a much larger scale. The next time that you visit a waterfall, don't just stop and look at the view. Look along the shaded banks. Notice where water and moisture collect, or how green life has occupied cracks in the rocks, or how the materials are traded between forest and river. All of these details help to create a relationship, and each relationship contributes to the whole. South Umpqua Falls will always be a beautiful place to photograph, visit, and remember. But its greatest story isn't told by the waterfall alone. It's told through the community of microclimates that this water helps to create. And when we recognize this place as more than just a view, we can then recognize that it is a place worth protecting.